explore multiple perspectives supported by research and classroom examples.
And I am Aina, and I'll focus on the cautious perspective, the potential risk of code switching, and how to avoid over-reliance on code switching.
And I am Ashik. I will discuss practical strategies for implementing code switching effectively so that students benefit without losing English exposure.
So let's begin. Code switching offers several important benefits in Malaysian primary ESL classroom. First, it supports comprehension of complex concepts. Narayana 2024 explained that when teachers use Malay to explain abstract ideas, students understand faster and then can express those ideas in English. For example, in a science lesson on photosynthesis, young learners may struggle with terms like chlorophyll or carbon dioxide. By giving a brief explanation in Malay, the teachers can check students' understanding before asking them to describe the process in English. This ensures comprehension while practicing the target language. Second, code switching reduces anxiety and increases confidence. EFL Cafe 2024 notes that students are more willing to participate when they can clarify instruction in Malay. Students feel safe asking questions, which encourage them to attempt English responses without fear of making mistakes. Third, code switching boosts engagement and participation. According to Rothstein et al. 2023, observed that in classrooms where teachers use strategic code switching, students participate more actively and produce longer English responses. Anna, I know you are concerned about over-reliance. From your perspective, do you think these benefits justify using code switching in primary ESL classrooms?
Yes, I must say that the benefits are clear, but still over-reliance is a concern.
Absolutely. That's why I emphasize strategic use. Malay is only used for clarification or abstract terms. Students are then immediately encouraged to respond in English. Let's examine the evidence. Ilyas et al. 2022 surveyed Malaysian ESL learners and found that brief, targeted Malay explanations help students understand instruction and participate more confidently. For instance, during a vocabulary lesson, an ecosystem of biodiversity, students who first receive a Malay explanation were able to describe concepts in English with greater accuracy. In a mini classroom example, a teacher asked, "Apa maksud photosynthesis?" Students give Malay definitions, then are asked to explain in English to a partner. Engagement increases because students feel supported. Mashi, how can teachers ensure students don't become over-reliant on Malay while maintaining comprehension?
I think it can be through guided code switching. Malay is used for new or abstract terms only. Then students respond in English. This scaffolding helps students gradually internalize English vocabulary.
This shows that code switching, when limited and intentional, enhance comprehension without reducing English exposure. I now is concerned about the overuse. EFL Cafe 2024 recommends purposeful, limited code switching, for example, 1 or 2 brief Malay explanation per lesson. This supports comprehension while keeping students immersed in English. Mashi, do you agree that gradual reduction of Malay use helps beginners transition to full English?
In my opinion, yes. Initial Malay support is fine, but as students' confidence grows, the teacher need to reduce switching gradually.
Exactly. Balance is the key. Strategic code switching maximizes benefit while avoiding dependency. Let's illustrate with more classroom scenario. Storytelling in English. The teacher narrates a story in English, but pauses occasionally to explain key phrases in Malay. Students then retell in English to a partner. Next, math lesson. For word problems, Malay can clarify tricky vocabulary like sum, difference, or product before students attempt solving in English. Then, science lesson. Terms like evaporation and pollination are clarified once in Malay. Then student explain in English. Aina, when do you think code switching become excessive?
I think code switching becomes excessive when the student are too dependent on the first language usage.
Exactly. The key is minimal but purposeful use. Code switching allows students to access prior knowledge in Malay while practicing English. According to EFLKP 2024, highlights improved comprehension, confidence and engagement when teacher use brief Malay support. In a mini classroom dialogue, the teacher asks, apa maksud biodiversity? The student will reply, kepelbagaian kehidupan. Then the teachers will give a feedback about the way. Now, explain in English to your partner. Mashi, do you agree this reduces anxiety while maintaining English exposure?
Yes, I agree, and it allows differentiation based on students' proficiency.
Exactly. Students get support but still practice English actively. So, let's discuss practical challenges, class size, verifying proficiencies, and curriculum constraint. How can teachers manage this? What do you think, Aina?
From my perspective, I think that teachers can manage it by planning code switching only for complex concepts and monitor students closely on how they use their English language.
I think by using pair or group work with Malay only for clarification and interactive English practice.
So strategy. Evidence-based code switching works even in larger classroom. To conclude, my part, code switching enhance comprehension of abstract or complex concept, reduce anxiety and increase confidence. And lastly, support engagement and participation. My speech is supported by Research Narayana 2024, Ilyas et al. 2022, EFLKP 2024, and Rostan et al. 2023. So, strategic use ensures benefit while avoiding over-reliance on Malay.
I agree with you mostly that while code switching is often recognized as a helpful strategy in ESL classroom, it is used in Malaysian primary education must be approached with caution. Although limited use of the first language can support comprehension, research also suggests that excessive or unlimited code switching may negatively affect English language development, learner autonomy and curriculum alignment. One of the key concerns is students' over-reliance on Malay usage. Elias et al. In 2022 found that when teachers frequently switch to Malay, learners tend to depend on translation rather than actively processing the English input itself. As a result, students may reduce their listening effort and wait passively for explanation in their first language. Over time, this reliance limits opportunities for independent communication in English, particularly in speaking and listening tasks. In addition, frequent code switching may reduce students' autonomy in using English. Effective language acquisition requires not only understanding but also continuous exposure and active use of the target language. Research by EFLKP in 2024 notes that learners who receive excessive first language support are less likely to attempt English output, especially during their interaction. For example, when vocabulary or concept are explained in Malay without requiring immediate English responses, students often continue using Malay with their peers, while comprehension may improve, meaningful English practice is reduced. Therefore given your focus on benefits, how can teachers balance advantages while mitigating this risk?
Through careful planning, limited switching and gradual reduction as proficiency improves.
Yes, I can see your point of view, but this will also require deliberate monitoring and teacher awareness of each student proficiency. Another important issue about code switching relates to curriculum alignment. The Malaysian KSSR curriculum emphasizes communicative competence and assesses students mainly through English-only tasks. Research by Abdullah and Rahman in 2022 argued that frequent reliance on Malay during language independently in English during examination or performance-based assessment. For example, during their listening exam, reading exam, and writing exam, they may understand what they are teaching class, but they fail to perform it during assessment. Furthermore, the effectiveness of code switching depends greatly on teacher competence and consistency. Roshan et al. Stated that highlight that inconsistent or unplanned switching between languages can confuse learners and disrupt lesson flow. When expectation regarding language use are unclear, students may become uncertain about when English is required, which can impact confidence and participation. Therefore, code switching should be guided by clear objective and careful consideration by learners' proficiency levels. Mashi, how could teacher provide comprehension support without reducing immersions?
It can be through guided or situational code switching, which is mainly only for clarification, then students respond in English.
Yes, I totally agree with that point, as teacher must monitor student closely and adjust aid support based on the student readiness. So I will also talk about the practical implication in classroom. Version is necessary due to large class sizes with proficiency and high stake English assessment. Abdullah and Rahman in 2022 suggest limiting switching to introducing new terms, complex instruction or abstract concept. For example, teacher explained coordination briefly in Malay and student will explain it in English to partner so that they can practice the English usage among their peers. This shows that Malay clarification should support understanding, but English output is still prioritized. Assessing Malay use without follow-up will reduce English practice. Mashi, does this support your strategy of phased code switching?
Yes, and it highlights the importance of immediate English practice after Malay support.
Evidence shows that unmonitored code switching can be counterproductive. EFLKP in 2024 emphasizes that teachers must limit frequency, skillful English responses, and gradually phase out the Malay support. So, do we all agree that combining benefits with careful monitoring addresses both perspectives?
Yes, strategic use balance support and English exposure.
Have recent points with this.
And another challenges that will include in code switching is large classroom with mixed proficiency. In a classroom, there will be different kind of students. There will be students who have received family support with family background, where their family often speak in English with each other in daily life, while some students may not. This will challenge the teacher itself on how to use English proficiently in the classroom. Another challenge is that students are too dependent on Malay that they cannot use English correctly. And lastly is curriculum pressure and English only assessment. Mashi, do you think these approaches are practical in daily teaching?
In my opinion, yes. Combining strategic switching, pairing tasks, and gradual reduction works across subjects like math, science, and storytelling.
Do you think teachers can implement code switching in larger classroom without over-reliance? Yes?
Can I answer first?
Yes.
Pair and group work plus gradual basic ensure engagement while maintaining English exposure.
Right?
What your question before? Yes, by planning switching points carefully and applying English responses.
This shows that caution and strategy can work together effectively to ensure that the student can learn greatly. To conclude, while code switching has benefit, caution is still necessary. Excessive use of code switching can reduce English exposure, limit independence, and conflict with the curriculum goal itself. By using targeted, monitored, and gradually reduced code switching, teachers can support comprehension, maintain English immersion, and manage mixed proficiency levels of students. My speech is supported by Elias et al. In 2022, Abdullah and Rahman in 2022 as well, Roslan et al. In 2023, and lastly EFLKP in 2024.
After hearing Is and Aina, I'm for complex vocabulary or difficult instruction, supported by Abdullah and Rahmat 2022. The next one is gradual reduction or phasing. This reduce Malay over time as students' proficiency improve, supported by EFLK 2024. Next is peer support or pair and group work tasks. Malay is only for clarification, encourages English output by Ines and Alpay in 2022. And the last one is scaffolding tasks, which is step-by-step instructions, initial Malay support and English output. Is these strategies align with your points on the benefits of code switching?
Yes, these strategies provide comprehension, supports while maintaining the English use.
How about you, Anna?
Yes, I would like to. And the careful monitoring addresses my concern about over-reliance of code switching.
Research support these strategies in practice. Roslan et al. 2023 observed that guided code switching improve engagement and comprehension without reducing English output. In a classroom example, for science that explain pollination in Malay, then students explain in English to a partner. In math class, with problems clarified once in Malay, then students solve in English. In storytelling, new vocabulary in Malay, students retell stories in English. Support by EFLK 2024. I now, with these practical examples, address your concern about over-reliance.
Yes, it is convincing me that restricting Malay to clarification points prevent dependency while supporting understanding.
Some might argue that even limited code switching reduce English exposure. EFLK 2024 explains that the key is to immediately follow Malay support with English output. For example, in a mini classroom dialogue, teacher will ask apa maksud biodiversity, and the student will say kepelbagaian hidup, and teacher will say, great, now explain it in English to your partner. Does this example illustrate your point about engagement?
Yes, it shows students can safely clarify meaning in Malay, then practice English.
May I say something as well? I really agree with your statement as it shows that caution is still maintained, but Malay is limited while English output is still prioritized.
There are step-by-step implementation to implement code switching strategically. First, we need to identify complex terms or instructions that require clarification. Next, we use brief Malay explanation only for those points. Next, immediately require English output, which is discussion, paperwork or written task. Next one is gradually reduce Malay support as proficiency increases, and the last one is monitor participation and engagement, adjusting support as needed. For example, lesson on ecosystem. Step first, we need to explain ecosystem and biodiversity in Malay. Step 2, students explain in English to a partner. Step 3, pairs create a short English presentation using new vocabulary. And step 4, future lessons reduce Malay explanation and students will rely entirely on English. I know, will this step-by-step approach prevent over-reliance?
Yes, I totally agree with this that as it gives structure and ensures English output is prioritized. It also does not let students to be reliant on teachers to use first language to understand the context, but they themselves have to work hard to understand the concept as well.
For multi-subject application, these strategies are adaptable across subjects. For example, in science, explain abstract terms once in Malay, then students describe the process in English. In math, clarify key terms in Malay, then students solve problem in English. In storytelling, introduce challenging vocabulary in Malay, then retell stories or write summaries in English. EFLK 2024 looks at multi-subject implementation, helps students see consistent English use, while Malay is only for necessary clarification. Does this support your point about boosting engagement?
Yes, multi-subject application increases opportunity for participation and comprehension.
Challenges such as means proficiency solution is itu by having group students by proficiency for targeted support, use peer scaffolding, adjust frequency of code switching based on progress, and track participation and English output. Aina, do you think this addresses your concern about over-reliance and curriculum alignment?
Yes, it actually addresses my concern as it demonstrates that code switching can be both safe and effective and modern.
So, do we all agree that code switching strategies must be targeted, traced, and monitored?
In my opinion, yes. Strategic use maximizes the benefit and minimizes the risk. What do you think, Anna?
I totally agree with her statement as well as it balances comprehension support and English immersion among the peers.
Might we also consider student reflection and self-monitoring as additional scaffolds?
Yes, reflective activities strengthen autonomy and reduce dependency.
To conclude, effective code switching strategies require targeted use of learning for compact terms, immediate English output, gradual reduction or mixing, pairing and group tasks, and the last one is monitoring engagement and participation. All of my speech supported by Abdullah Ar-Rahman 2022, PFLK 2024, Ilyas et al. 2022, and Roslan et al. 2023. Careful implementation enhance comprehension, engagement, and English immersion while minimizing over-reliance. Based on my experience during school-based activities and classroom observations, I noticed that English-only instruction does not always lead to effective participation, especially among lower proficiency pupils. In some lessons, students appear hesitant to respond, avoid speaking, or rely heavily on the teacher when they did not fully understand the instruction or key concept. However, I also observed that when teachers allow brief and controlled use of Malay for clarification, students became more confident and more willing to attempt responses in English. Importantly, this support did not replace English use, but instead helped students understand that what was expected of them so that they could participate more actively. Therefore, this strategy focuses on how teachers can balance language support with language exposure, particularly when dealing with mixed proficiency levels, large class size, and curriculum demand. The aim is to ensure that Malay functions as a temporary support for learning, while English remains the primary language for communication and task completion. These strategies help frame our later discussion on how code switching can be applied in a structured and responsible Okay, now Aina and Is, can you share your own experience?
Yes, can I start first?
Yes,
Okay. When I have reflected on my own experience as a student in Malaysian primary and secondary classroom, I realized how powerful code switching can be in supporting learning, especially in English. But there are many times in English and social studies lesson when I struggle with English vocabulary. Words like photosynthesis, chlorophyll, or colonialism seem intimidating at first. I could read them, but I didn't always understand what they meant. At times, I would feel lost in class discussion, and I was unsure whether I could answer the question correctly. However, when teacher explained this concept using a mix of Malay and English, everything became clearer. I remember one particular science lesson on photosynthesis. My teachers first explained the process in Malay, how plants use sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to make food. Then we were asked to describe it in English. That brief explanation in Malay gave me a mental framework. Suddenly, English words like chlorophyll weren't just foreign terms. They were labels for something I already understood. I could confidently answer the question, write sentences, and even help my classmates clarify their understanding. What do you think?
Can you share with us?
I am glad that you have a good experience with code switching, but however, on the set, I have experienced a bad thing about code switching. In my English class during primary school, my teacher often switched between Malay and English while teaching. At first, I thought that it will help me to learn better, but it actually made following the lesson harder. Sometimes a sentence will start in English and end in Malay, and I had to pause constantly to understand what the teachers are delivering. Taking notes becomes slower because I had to rewrite almost everything to make sense of it. Over time, I noticed that my understanding was lacking, and I struggled with homework and exam. This made me realize that too much code switching, even from a teacher, can disrupt learning instead of helping. But I think it was partly my fault because I myself was too dependent on the first language used in code switching.
Thank you, Mashi. To conclude, code switching, when used strategically, is a powerful tool in Malaysian primary ESL classroom. Research shows it improves comprehension, reduces anxiety, and increases student engagement. When Malay is used briefly for clarification and followed by English output, students are better supported without losing exposure to English. Therefore, code switching should not be seen as a weakness, but as a purposeful teaching strategy.
In conclusion, the effectiveness of code switching depends on how it is implemented. Guided use, immediate English practice, gradual reduction, and peer interaction ensure students benefit without becoming dependent on link. With careful planning and monitoring, teachers can use code switching across subjects to support understanding while maintaining strong English immersion.
And now to conclude, while code switching offers clear benefit, caution is still necessary. Overuse may reduce English exposure, limit learner independence, and affect curriculum alignment. However, when code switching is targeted, monitored, and gradually reduced, it can support comprehension without harming English development. Balance and teacher awareness is the key.
Ultimately, code switching is not about choosing Malay over English.
It is about using family as temporary support while prioritizing English learning.
With the right balance, teachers can make learners meet while achieving the curriculum goals.
That's all from